welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Pokemon Thursday, the day of the week where we like to talk all about my dog's tiny little flop. I can't really pull you up because then I'm pulling your ear. Then the RSPCA will boot my door down, be like, why the fuck did you pull on that dog's ear? And then I'll be, oh my God, the drugs are under the bed. Wait, who are you again? And it'll all be a complicated minging mess. But he does have weird little ears. I didn't realise staffies, not that he's a full staffy. You are what we like to call mongrel doggy. That shouting mongrel at my beautiful little puppy. Where will we go? It's Pokemon Thursday. It is time for another comic book character related theme team shenanigans. I will quickly say, Thomas, you beautiful little fucking legend, love you so much. You did do a shout out of somebody you want in the future. I haven't forgotten about it. It's on the list. It's just because I pre-record so much in advance just because of life and work and shit. I need to make sure I've got videos pre-recorded. So it will be coming up at some point in the future. I just don't know if it'll be next week or the week after, but it will be coming up. Do not worry. You just might have to have a little bit of patience. But yes, I wonder who this mystery new... Wait, it won't be a mystery, will it? Be in the fucking... It'll be in the fucking thumbnail, the title, you fucking donut. It's not a mystery this week, of course it isn't, because it never is. It's Homelander, the psychotic, the just sheer mental, egotistical, it's mentally vulnerable at times, just... the fucked up man that is Homelander. I thought we would give Homelander his very own Pokemon team. And once again, I feel like for different reasons, for certain character traits, there's a couple of these traits that are more specific to the TV show, I will admit, as opposed to the comic books. But regardless, it's still Homelander. But I think we've chosen some good ones. I can't wait to hear your ideas and thoughts and teams and whatnot. Like I said, I've got little mini kind of scenarios and stories to go with each one. So shall we... mild stroke. So should we get crack-a-lacking and take a look at who I've given a Homelander for as a Pokemon? Jesus Christ, I'm getting worse. I definitely am. In some way, I'm a few years away from a fucking stroke. I think this one's obvious, and it's maybe going to be his starter, but it's Miltank. Of course it's Miltank. Homelander like the milk. Homelander like the titty milk. He'll sit there one day, he'll be sat chilling. I don't know if maybe he got this as a starter and when he was older, maybe Homelander started to become a trainer as he got older and he just sat there chilling one day and he's just like, is that a cow? They have milk, don't they? We have seen Homelander do some cow milk stuff before. But yeah, he'll be looking at it going, come on out, Pokeball, and it was straight back to the fucking Vought Tower. Just he'll be milking the shit out of it. I had to include this. The man loves milk. I absolutely adore in season 4 where Firecracker gets some of the old milk and he's like, and he fucking loves it. So yeah, I'm sorry. He'll be chucking out monsters, and you'll be chucking out a Rhydon or a fucking Geodude or a fucking massive Groudon, and he'll be like, Homelander needed the milk Pokemon. Sticking with the gross, minging, icky side of Homelander, and I've gone for Ditto. The rest of them are just like normal sort of decent selections. I had to get 2 of the week because the guy's got fetishes. We've seen Hero-gasm. We know that, you know, receiving fellatio from certain people and certain characters that can transform into certain other people and shapeshift and all that kind of stuff. Homelander would definitely he'd want his Miltank there, just giving him constant refills, bit of moo milk, and then he'd want his Ditto to be like, okay, today I want you to be this, today I want you to be that, today I want you to be me, and I want you to turn into me, doing the fellatio on me. He would love a Ditto. He would just abuse a Ditto. Dittos get abused as it is anyway, being just left in the fucking daycare center to be bred with every Pokemon you put in there to get the eggs from. But Homelander's going to abuse some Ditto. Right, next up, I've gone for Zarude. Now, I've gone for Zarude because Homelander, depending who it is and depending when and whatnot, and again, if we want to talk more specifically, I guess, to the show, he has like a right-hand man, and until his inevitable demise, Black Noir was his right-hand man. And I can see a world where Homelander's got his team and whatnot, and then you maybe Vought have done some trials somewhere, they've been out exploring to get some of this research or anything like that, or something like that. And there's they go to a location where there's a Zarude, and they capture it, they bring it back, and he's like, it's in the cage, and he's like, because some Zarude could be absolutely mental off their face. I know the ones from Secret of the Jungle is a bit more tame and whatnot, but there could be some mental ones, and he could be like, I could use you. And then it would be like his little enforcer, his little right-hand man, his little, when he stood there saying, go find me, you know, Huey, or go find Billy Butcher for me. You know, it'd send out on little missions and it would go back and forward. Plus, Zarude being a dark type, and the grass type doesn't really matter much per se here, but being a dark type, and it would maybe lurk in the shadows and wait for the boys to come somewhere. There's Mother's Milk, or there's Frenchie or Kamiko, and it's just watching, it's trying to grab them or whatever. I just think it would work really cool as his right-hand man Pokemon, and I think the two together will look quite cool. You know, Homelander, this, when they bring in some here and he's looking, he's going, and he's doing all of his little faces and shit, and Zarude's just in the corner like, because it's going to be like a proper feral, horrible, just kind of Zarude. So yeah, Zarude as his right-hand man. Mewtwo, and I feel like I had to include a super powerful legendary of some kind just to be on par with Homelander's super duper powerful strength and all this kind of shit. And the fact that, you know, Homelander's past his, you know, creation and manipulation and testing and doing all this kind of stuff, his past isn't a million miles away from Mewtwo's. Mewtwo's being created, you know, as a clone, and Homelander was, you know, the Soldier Boy, then the Homelander, we have the Mew, then into the Mewtwo, and all this kind of stuff. And I feel like maybe in this world, this particular world, maybe the same facility where Homelander was getting tested on and poked and prodded and fired and all this kind of shit was maybe the same facility that Mewtwo escaped from, and maybe they both didn't know each other was there, and in this particular story they both, you know, did their whatever escapes, or they both got out in different fashions, and then they somehow meet up again, and because Mewtwo's doing his psychic talking and shit, they can say, oh, you were there, I was there, and all this kind of shit. And because they'll see the power of in each other, Homelander can be like, you're extremely powerful. Mewtwo will be like, I can sense the power, you're super powerful. And then the day that Homelander just wants to snap and just destroy everything and kill everybody and go nuts, he would do it back to back in the sky, floating with Mewtwo. He'll be Homelander would be Mewtwo would be behind him, fucking chucking psychic energy blasts and whatnot, or whatever the movie wants to do. And I just think as a destructive duo with somewhat similar pasts, I think they work extremely perfectly. This is the only Pokemon on the team that's going to have somewhat of a, try and make you feel a bit of sympathy for Homelander. But I've gone for Mimikyu. Now, Mimikyu is all about wanting to look like something else, wanting to look like something that the people love and the world love and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of feel like Homelander has them sort of traits. We've seen moments where he's looked inside of himself, and, you know, he might be looking in the mirror and as a version of himself, giving him shit, you're this, you're whatever, trying to, you know, this, you're worthless, all this kind of stuff. But deep down at times, you still see that young little boy inside Homelander that was just mistreated and, you know, having all these tests done on him and this and trying out that. And you still see a vulnerable little boy. So inside of this case of, a lot of people see the symbolism of hope and freedom and justice, which obviously he isn't. But on the outside, you know, to a lot of people, it's like, oh, it's Homeland, it's Superman, it's America, it's freedom, it's democracy, it's justice. So on Mimikyu's case, it's obviously, oh, it's cute, it's cuddly, oh, it's a little Pikachu. But inside is this dark sort of unable to look into the mirror kind of creature character thing. And I feel like there's a lot of symmetry that reflect there, and I feel like Homelander might see a Mimikyu and take pity on it. Plus, it'll be an ultimate tool to have, you know, anybody that looks underneath Mimikyu, they'll die and whatnot. But I feel like there'll be, like, I don't know if he'll take it out, or if he'll have it in his team. He might always carry 5 Pokemon and leave Mimikyu back at Vought Tower, but it's there as a little reminder to just sort of look at him. It might be something that he just wants to keep hold of, because there's still a small part of him somewhere that's good, and this is maybe a reminder that he can be good. You know, there's a thing there, like another little bit of similarity and shit like that. But I feel like he would see it and find some sort of sympathy and somewhat relate. So I've gone for Mimikyu. And last but not least, I've gone for Braviary. Hello, puppy. I didn't even realise you'd got off the bed. I've gone for Braviary. That's right. The ultimate symbol in the Pokemon world of America. You know, America, freedom, peace, justice. Yeah. It's an eagle. It's a big eagle. And, right, okay, so I love the idea of, again, Homeland is supposed to portray these ideologies, these things of America and freedom and democracy and justice and all this kind of stuff. People see Homelander with the America cable and say, yeah, awesome, we're the good guys. And Braviary screams that as well. So to see Homelander flying down with the Pokemon symbol of America and then whatever, you know, America is supposed to justify, symbolize and shit like that, flying down together, And it'll be like, oh, I saved the day, and there's him there, and then Braviary will help commandeer a criminal. Maybe he'll tie them, somehow tie them up or lift them up with its beak and drop them down or whatever. And then you'll have Homelander poison down. It's okay, citizens, we've saved the day. And then Braviary flies down behind him like, rah, rah, but then they get back to Vought Tower. And this Braviary is just as horrible and minging and just gut-wrenchingly evil at times as Homelander. So we'll get back. So say, like, for example, the scene that where they caught Web Weaver, Homelander wants this intel, they get back, and Homelander's like trying to interrogate him. We go, okay, I've got the info I need, and then he'll just send a Braviary, and Braviary comes in, he's like, and just wants to destroy and rip the, this Web Weaver up and just absolutely kill him and limb from limb, rip the intestines out and all that kind of shit. Braviary comes back out and says, And I like the idea that not only this corrupt American symbol of a human, there's also this corrupt American symbol of a Pokemon, that behind closed doors, they are just horrible, crazy, psychotic things that just want to kill and destroy and all this kind of shit. But on paper, on face value, when people see him on the TVs and that, it's Homelander and the Braviary, because I feel like that's what they would call it, the Braviary, and just being all America and USA, and people really get behind it. You'd have people with the American flag and a picture of Braviary, and that be like, yes, obviously made by Vought, like, yes, come on, America, woo, USA. And again, behind closed doors, just horrible little bastards. So yes, Braviary, the American Pokemon with the symbol of America and the boys, but really just two horrible little cunts behind closed doors. And there we have visuals. Hopefully the team's plastered down there. Fucking cat gut your tongue. Use your big boy words. Hopefully the team's plastered down at the bottom. So hopefully you like that team. Like I said, I know two of them are just very creepy, weird, pervy shenanigans. The Zarude one I really, really like as a little right-hand man. Mewtwo, just the ultimate symbol of, I guess, can be destruction in the world of Pokemon. Mimikyu, maybe I'm clutching at straws to that one, but I just feel like there will be a connection and he would see a level of sympathy and whatnot. I absolutely adore the Braviary one. I think that's really cool. Like I said, this Pokemon that's supposed to represent all this stuff, but behind closed doors is a little twat. But there we have it. Homelander's team. That wraps up another edition of Pokemon Thursday and another edition of giving comic book characters Pokemon teams. And like I said, Thomas, you will have your video up just whenever it gets up. Like I said, it's only going to be a couple of weeks after I've done this one. I'm fairly confident of it. It's in my list. I'm looking there as if my list's there. My list's there on my desk. It's definitely on the list and whatnot. So we'll be definitely getting it done. It's just have a little patience. I'm just getting all my videos booted up and backdated so we can just keep steadily going, especially when it's getting more crazy and girlfriend time and shit's happening here and cinema and try and do this and trips away there. And we're trying to keep stocked up. But there we have it, visuals. Hopefully we did enjoy this edition of Pokemon Thursday. But more importantly, thank you so much for watching, you beautiful bunch of bastards. And always keep being you and keep out, keeping on.